Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Games Chat. I'm your host, Chris. As always, joined by my co-host, Sean.
Hi.
And John.
Hello.
You tried to say something. And they were like, wait,
No. Wow, look, things happened. Like we heard music. It wasn't there at first.
Much like Chris Paul, I distracted you from my true intentions.
Did you see that one time that Chris Paul took Austin Rivers to the hole and
You mean last night?
Yeah, shake and baked and then dished a dime?
Had 30 people on him and he was just oh, by the way, there's Austin Rivers.
So in basketball, John, we're into the playoff mode of the season.
Playoffs!
And the Golden State Warriors, the defending champions, are now tied with the Houston Rockets, 2 games apiece.
The team that almost beat them last year until they lost Chris Paul to injury.
It's a big thing, man. It's a big thing. So if we got any Houston people out there, shout out to the Rockets, right?
Shout out to the Bucks and my man Giannis.
I secretly think that the Bucks are going to win the whole thing.
He's a
really
beast.
do. Yeah.
He is a beast.
He's like a freak.
Yes, a Greek freak.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah,
John, I was talking nothing on basketball.
I was talking with my friend, and he was like, "Man, could you imagine if he gets a jump shot?" I was like, "If that happens, that man is going to be like the
greatest player of all time."
Yeah, he'll be the baby of Kevin Durant and LeBron James because he's already LeBron, like young LeBron James.
Yeah,
he's big and powerful.
I don't know what that means, but I like it.
Strong. That's where his confidence.
John. So,
hey man,
how you doing?
I'm good.
Did you watch basketball too?
Yeah, I haven't watched basketball per se. I just keep up with the sports.
I played NBA Jam once.
Did you? Did you get on fire?
I might have cut our stream.
He's heating up.
I might have cut our stream last night a little short because of playoffs. Because I was just like,
we had a stream last night.
Yeah, we did. Every Monday, 8 p.m. on Twitch.
I like when you send me, hey guy, get on reminders.
I like a good steady stream though.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I might have the hiccups.
where when it hits the bowl, it kind of has a more robust sound. Not like a trickle, but more of a gushing waterfall.
You mean not like I have a
How did
prostate
this turn to urination?
Talking about streaming, right?
So you're saying you don't...
I got to recommend Flomax. I mean, that's...
Is that a thing?
It's prostate medicine.
So you're not a fan of the enlarged prostates is what you're saying?
I wouldn't know. I'm just kidding.
Yet.
Yeah, probably.
It's all in our future.
Does it happen to every one of us?
Every man's prostate does grow. Yes. It does grow over time. That's a natural thing.
Grow.
It just does it grow.
Let it grow.
It's kind of like your...
just because yours is the size of a bagel
I don't know what
doesn't mean that ours is going to grow.
I don't know prostate cancer.
Whoa.
There's another term for having an enlarged one. I don't think that runs in my family. Watch, now I'm going to have
Why
an enlarged
did you drop
prostate.
the big C word on us right here?
I don't know.
What did you do that for?
Chris?
Just because it gets enlarged means it's the big C?
It can be. It's likely.
It's a symptom?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well.
Let me tell you about your colon next.
See you guys later.
Now that's where I'm screwed. That's where I'm probably screwed, unfortunately. Colon. My dad's got...
There's a joke in there somewhere, dude.
What is it? That diverculosis?
Diverculotitis?
Yeah. My dad's got the thing that's right before you get cancer.
Have you gotten oscopied yet?
No, that won't be for a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, weekly old man chat.
Yeah, right?
Have you got the old finger in the bum? No.
So I didn't get to go see Long Shot this weekend. So there was
what is Long Shot? Oh,
that's
no idea.
The Seth.
Yeah, Seth Rogen movie. That was the only new movie.
They say it's good.
They say it's supposed to be good.
Yeah. No, Ugly, what is it called? Ugly something for a kid's movie with Kelly Clarkson came out.
Oh, the Ugly Dolls, yeah.
Yeah, I almost went to go see that. But
how'd you get out of that?
The weekend was a blur, so it didn't happen.
I had the weekend to myself. My wife and
your wife
were in New York.
Yeah.
And I forgot to go see Avengers again.
Oh,
how do you forget?
How many times have you seen it now?
I've seen it twice, but I meant to go see it again, but I just got
it was great.
Too lazy to go be lazy.
Dude, how awesome.
I was so lazy in my house that I forgot to go be lazy inside of it.
Well, that's why it only made $147 million.
Way to go, John.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Dude, how great is being lazy, right?
Great.
It's contagious.
So great that Sunday rolls around and you're like, oh crap, I got to get some stuff done. She's going to be home tonight.
What did you need to do?
I needed to vacuum the house, make sure the kitchen was clean.
Carpet.
Upstairs he does.
We have dogs and
that's
fur
true.
gets everywhere.
Good
so
point.
We vacuum
Constantly.
every week, and we have Roombas upstairs and down.
I was going to ask you if you had some Roombas.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I like to Roomba.
So
DJ Roomba.
Sprayed for bugs in the house. You know, I try to do something that I wouldn't normally do routine every weekend. You know, like
Chop wood
fixing a
outside.
cabinet door,
Did you
painting a fence.
Did you see that out of the routine trailer that dropped for a movie that's coming out?
That's in the news.
I know. That's why I'm saying it like I am.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Spider-Man trailer's in the news.
No, not that one.
Oh, is that what-
Wait, which one are you talking about?
Did you see the Spider-Man trailer?
Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
I did.
That was nice.
Fascinating.
But when I was implying about what normally doesn't happen is the star of the movie doesn't come on and say, "Hey, if you haven't seen this," I know because he also messed up before.
Well, no. They had said, "Oh, by the way, the spoiler lift for Endgame is Monday." I'm like, why the heck would they just say that?
Like a random.
And then I was like, oh, that's why they literally had no choice but to say it.
Yeah,
because they were going to drop that trailer.
You think that was more
First of all, you don't lift me from spoiling anything. I can spoil if I want to spoil. I'll get beat up in front of a theater.
Who's he
I
talking
don't
to?
care.
Only in Hong Kong.
I'm talking to the internet rules.
the proverbial internet,
The make-believe internet rules that don't exist.
It's just called courtesy. That's all it is.
True courtesy.
You're one of the most courteous people I know.
True that. That's true.
That is a true statement, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a nice guy.
You are top notch.
Extremely nice. Second coming of Christ right here.
Whoa.
That's not very,
Blasphemy, sir.
Sean's eyes
Speaking of
got
things
big.
that aren't Christ-like.
Sir, that's blasphemy.
Strike me down.
Do you still laugh when Thor gets on the headset and talks to the kid about Fortnite? Because I do.
I do.
It's one of the greatest things.
Let me tell you something, noob master.
He says I am Thor, right? God of whatever. And it's real?
Yes.
I
Just the fact his name is Noob Master.
if there's one part
Right.
if there's one part about that movie, one part
That you don't like is the Fortnite part.
it's the Thor part in general. I just didn't care for it.
Because
I didn't
why?
care for it. Because you go through all this stuff in Ragnarok to become what you are,
Uh-huh.
and you just completely fall from that. It's
Not-
like you
not
build
because
up to drop.
If it was Ragnarok
Drop?
to Endgame, sure, you'd go, what happened? But Infinity War happened.
Yeah.
And everybody else was in it too.
Well,
But
guess
that's
what?
the thing.
Thor is emotional. He
Yeah,
takes
he
things
is.
differently.
I think
He
it-
has a history of that.
And they made him like he was because of how he's always the other way, shirtless and muscular and
yeah, Thor has a history in the comics of being prideful and
Right.
has
So
self-esteem
this is why it's
issues. Things
hilarious.
like this.
To me, it
I
made-
get that, but
It made sense that maybe not the fact that like he was eating the way it was, but like the drinking for sure. That made like tons of sense to me because it's like, look, that's a dude that in Ragnarok watches his father die and basically he tells him, you're going to have to lead our people regardless. And then you do this and you realize you missed Thanos' head. And because of it, half of your people instantly died.
I'm just talking
You know.
about the Nutty Professor Big Mama's house fat
Yeah.
suit. I just didn't see the need for that. We could have taken his problem a little bit more seriously had he not looked like the Big Lebowski.
Uh-huh.
he did.
It made for a great joke.
Yeah.
It did.
It did.
But
That's what they use him for.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm with you on that. I haven't been a huge fan of joke Thor as much as other people. Though I did like the dude that plays, what's his name, Korg or whatever. The director.
YTT or
Yeah,
whatever.
he's just perfect. Like the guy who's like,
Yeah.
piss off, ghost,
He's funny.
kicks the wall.
He's fun. But I could watch Ragnarok any day of the week
I
and
love
twice on
Ragnarok.
Sunday.
Mhm.
Just love that movie.
It's good stuff.
Apparently, you can't go see Endgame though for a third time
For a
over the
third
weekend
time, yeah.
when
It
you
is-
don't have wife and kids.
That would be 9 hours of your life.
9?
Yes. That many.
That many hours?
At least of watching that movie. It's
That's
crazy,
like
right?
watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy, not the extended version.
Yeah, but that's 3 movies you're watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy. I don't think I did anything but work on a motorcycle this weekend.
There you go.
So you played.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
I did.
Oh, that's not what you meant.
No, I meant literally, yeah.
I did one thing and I watched Game of Thrones.
I did watch. Hey, yeah, that thing's happening, John, that we can't talk about because you don't watch the show. Thanks.
Well, I saw the side saddles and maybe the back seat part, the back brace, the back part of your bike. Is that new?
No.
You say working on your bike. I saw some side
I
saddles.
put the saddles on and they have brackets that are, I did the throwover style mounting, which is just like you put a saddle on a horse. But it came with brackets you could put to your actual bike frame. And, oh boy, was that fun. Huh?
I bet.
It's trying to do basically 3 components to make them mesh and line up, and it's just a mess. And I'm going to go back and take the brackets off and literally just throw them over the back seat, but underneath the back seat, John, in case you're wondering, because that makes a difference.
I like a good back seat.
Right?
I do.
Good times. But,
Yeah.
where are we at? Oh my God, it's only been 11 minutes.
That's fine.
No,
We are so bored.
I mean, hey, sometimes there are busier weeks than others, right?
I guess, dude.
If you would start watching more NBA basketball, we could talk about every series and all the impacts. And
But then the hockey playoff people would get mad at us.
Hockey's dead to me. My team's out.
Well,
We lost in double overtime.
did have the Blues and Stars played yet for that game?
I don't know.
You don't even know what that means, do you? There's people in Dallas
do,
and St.
yes.
Louis who hate you right now.
I do know who those teams are. Thank you.
John, have you ever seen hockey?
I've heard of it.
It's coming back to our town.
I've seen a couple of games. Have you ever heard the expression? I went to a boxing match and a hockey game broke out. What?
Anyways,
12 minutes. That's
you
what we
guys
are.
want to get to this topic?
God, yes.
You be the one that's going to be like 12 minutes. Shortest podcast ever. You're welcome, people. What's happening? What's happening?
You're shorting us out because you're.
Is that
leaning
just
back.
me, or is
Yeah,
that
it was literally you pulling on
the whole audio got shorted out?
No,
Just the headphone audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're fine.
Sorry, guys. I didn't want to pull a John and wreck the show.
Or the show. Oh, that was the wrong thing. That wasn't what you meant.
You all right?
Yeah.
Let's get to it. Hey? Yeah? All right.
John, say something.
I'm good, man.
Okay. Payne's with her.
12 minutes and 51 seconds.
He's like, a record. Okay, let's do it.
Topic time.
The topic is bike game. Been calling it all week. Days Gone.
Guys, my phone was on the whole time.
Oh, no.
Honey, I didn't mean it.
That's fine.
Cone. The cone is intact. But yeah, Days Gone.
So,
Notes.
if you woke up from I told you I had a list of.
That's true.
I put it out there.
That was, for the record, that was my notes you heard rattling. Sean.
When you sent that message, I was taking a dump.
Hold up. Notes.
The
show crashed.
No.
The show's done.
You
It's done.
broke the show.
No, broke the show.
broke the show.
Your scribbles.
If you've been like in a coma or under a rock, and before that happened, you heard that Days Gone was coming out in like 2018. Turns out we just got it on April 26th.
Much like the end of the Kentucky Derby, there was a delay.
Yeah, that was. How did we not bring that up, huh?
Yeah.
You just did brilliantly, Chris.
When I watched it,
You watched Kentucky Derby?
I watch it every year. I've never missed, I don't think, a Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Ever.
Fun fact alert?
Yeah. Been to the Preakness way back.
Where's the Preakness?
Baltimore.
Baltimore?
Cool.
Cool.
But yeah, I knew as soon as they did, they were going to have to overturn it. I was like, dang it, they're going to overturn this. It took me off.
I wouldn't have known that because I don't know about horse races, but apparently it's a common thing in the everyday horse race.
I was like, if you want to have any integrity and you say, like, if this had just been a random race, you would disqualify that. You know, no fault to really the jockey, but it's what you do. But anyways, yeah, Days Gone.
Yeah.
I love a good pair of jockeys.
Fun fact.
I don't.
This is Ben Studio's first console game since the PlayStation 2. I think like I saw 2004 was the last time.
I saw that stat. I don't even know what the game was that they came out with.
They were before they kind of got moved to doing Vita ports. Like they did both the Uncharted game, the Golden Abyss, and was the Insomniac game that was popular on Resistance. They did the Resistance PlayStation Portable game. But before that...
It's their last game. It's their first game since 2011, which was Golden Abyss.
Yes. And like it was... Before that, they were primarily the Siphon Filter people. Series. And the one we tried to forget, they were the creators of Bugsby 3D. That was their very first game.
I don't even know what that is. I should know it.
And you should not. You don't want to know.
Loved.
It's not?
It's not well loved.
I've watched Donkey play that game, and it's great. He pans it so well. But yeah, first game for them since 2004 that is on a console. First game, as John said, since 2011, and their first ever open world game. Pretty big.
Yeah.
Big step.
It's crazy because I feel like, how can I say this? I feel like the world is open. It's great, right? And I don't...
Open to what? Its feelings?
I don't know.
It might have hurt feelings.
I was going to say, if you look at the internet reviews of this game, it's got hurt feelings.
Yeah.
But people do got hurt feelings.
I don't know.
Well, before we get it, let's set it up for them.
Yeah, we can set it up a little bit. That's what I was kind of trying to think of how to do that.
So the idea here is that you play as Deacon St. John. He's a former war vet who came home and joined a motorcycle club called the Mongrels. And he is married to a woman.
Worst motorcycle name.
Yeah,
by the way.
he's married to like a botanist, I think is kind of what suggested. She is a scientist named Sarah. And at the very start of the game, you have the fall of society as this plague breaks out and causes what they call freakers, but really they're just zombies if we're being honest.
Really fast zombies.
Yeah, really fast. Like 28 Days Later zombies.
Yeah.
I think is probably the best.
More accurate.
Yeah, or World War Z. That's another one that's on par.
Great.
But yeah, the society falls and they're trying to get out of their town in Oregon. I think it's called Fairhope. I think that's the name of it. But the idea is that Sarah gets hurt and Deacon, in order to save her, has to put her on a helicopter, and he could go with her, but he chooses not to because his buddy Booze Man, aka Boozer. I'd call him Booze Man. That's the only thing you can call him after you play this game. But he realizes if he leaves Booze Man there, he's going to die. There's just no way that Booze Man's getting out of this thing.
I love Chris saying Booze Man.
Yeah, right? Booze Man.
Makes me happy.
But
I'm in awe.
He puts her on the helicopter. She goes off to a camp. It's presumed that the camp gets overran by the freakers, and she is presumed dead. And Days Gone is in reference to them picking up, I think it's like 700 something days after that incident, and like how many days gone she has been.
Yeah,
that's how long.
The presumption of her being dead for me going through the story was, of course, how strong that intro is, and then all of a sudden you're at a different place and you know that time has passed. She's not with you, but you're still with Boozer. You know what I mean? And I went, well, that probably didn't turn out okay. And then as you kind of play, you hear little things in a dialogue.
Yeah.
And you kind of can put the story together that something's not right there.
Yeah, like there's no definitive proof. It's just an assumption of the cruelty of the world, right?
Yeah.
Like going, well, if, 6 billion people died pretty quickly, odds are if she was at a camp, she's probably dead, right? Like that's kind of what is teased up.
John's done.
But yeah, that's the setup. How much did you guys play?
Between 10 to 15 hours. There's no clock on this game.
Yeah, you guys are always really good at that, and I never know.
Yeah.
How to say what I've done, and especially with an open world game, I've stayed pretty much on par with the missions. I haven't really done a lot of side stuff, but I've taken my time at each kind of thing I needed to do too, because I wanted to be more stealthy and not just guns a-blazing, if you will.
Not go full anarchy.
Yeah,
I played 2 hours when it the day it came out. Then last Sunday night, I played 5 hours. Then last night, I played about 4 hours. So that's kind of where I'm at. I was telling Chris yesterday or the other day, I was on that kind of video game detox for about a week, and I found that the consequence of that is it's very hard to get the enthusiasm back up to jump into a game, particularly an open world game.
Yeah, that's such a commitment.
Particularly an open world game that seems to just be getting crapped on a little bit. So
it does seem to be getting crapped on. For me, it was my birthday fell after the day the game came out, right?
Yeah, you waited.
So I was told to wait because people, quote unquote, don't know what to buy me for my birthday, which is just
you got
weird.
me a crappy game for my birthday.
Which is just weird.
I thought they were going to buy you bike bags.
Well, I got those. Yeah, the bags you saw were for my birthday.
Nice.
They are nice. They're very nice. Shout out.
I have not seen them.
Shout out to vikingbags.com, huh? But then we go the day after my birthday to a store, and they're sold out. They don't have the game.
Yeah.
And that last week, you guys know this past week was exhausting.
Yeah.
With at work things going on for my family. So
especially for your wife.
It was my wife. It was just like, all right, let's just go home. We'll get it tomorrow. That tomorrow ended up being like Thursday or Friday before I actually got the game that had been out for almost a week at that point.
Wow.
Yeah. But
she just,
wow. So like Owen Wilson. Wow.
Yeah. It's my own.
I mean,
I played 50 hours.
You know for sure?
I'm guesstimating it's about 50 hours. Yeah, I feel pretty confident on that. You know how John said like this weekend, like he had a lazy weekend? Friend of the show, Jeff, went out town to the beach. So I just pretty much clocked in Friday after I got home from our thing. Yeah. And until Game of Thrones. Like I took a little bit of a break to watch basketball every now and then, but that was about it.
Well, Jeff mentioned he was interested in this game, but I don't think I've seen him playing it. So he might have just kind of opted out once he
I don't know.
Yeah.
Got a sense of what was up.
In the real world, something else has been on Jeff's mind.
Oh.
Like, no, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Jeff likes motorcycles.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I heard.
So I can see how this game will be right up his alley. And I got to be honest, I don't know as of yet. And Chris, you've got way more time in this game than me and John, but
yeah.
I don't know why it's getting crapped on like it is thus far to the level of how it's getting crapped on, to the point where I think I saw like a 5 out of 10 somewhere.
That's the low. That was the low.
That was a GameSpot. Surprisingly, that was a GameSpot review.
Well,
we have notes, John. We're gonna discuss some things.
Yeah. One thing that did not help them, from what I've gathered, is that the game had a ton of patches up into the release, and like they gave this game to critics like way early when there were a lot of issues. So if I totally can understand if you're a reviewer and you're going through and you're just seeing all these things broken, it's not going to help you when you're reviewing the game. So whoever decided to give the game to them that early, knowing that there were patches coming, that were very critical, that's on,
I didn't know that. Exam. So that makes sense to me to see why
yeah.
But what I'm worried about is that people that rely on a review now won't buy the game because, and you're not the only person, or not this. I know friends that have said, well, I've heard bad things about this game.
Yeah.
Or I've seen that only got on this website. And I was like, you know what? This is one of those games I was excited to play because I'm a motorcycle enthusiast in my old age now. I wanted to play it, so I was very excited that it came out. And it was a birthday present for me.
I definitely think if you're someone who is that, like, you love bike culture, and such, I totally can understand why, regardless of the bad reviews, that this would be a game that you get, because there just really isn't. I mean, name another game out there that's like open world that features that lifestyle,
on
right?
A motorcycle, you're not gonna,
like GTA 4 had Lost in the damn DLC. And of course you can do it online, but like just a story based thing, it's pretty rare to actually have that. Motorcycles, sure, they're in games, but to actually be like Sons of Anarchy or whatever, that's a unique perspective in game. So if you're into that, regardless of whatever issues the game has, I could totally understand why you would bypass those and say, well, this is the best I got. I'd rather give it a shot, and maybe it will connect with me more.
Well, to that end, they got the chief mechanic of the game. I mean,
yeah,
the motorcycle, I would argue, is the chief mechanic of the game. It's practically a character in the game. I think they got that nailed down tight. You're basically Daryl from The Walking Dead. I mean, that's kind of how it feels to me.
A little bit.
You got a crossbow, for God's sake. You got a motorcycle, and you've got this gruff dude. It's like you're just playing with Daryl Dixon.
Yeah,
in a zombie game.
Maybe more personality.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about this game is the main character, Deacon St. John.
Horrible name.
I think that is an amazing name. So I think you and I differ from there. Like that's actually
good as Booze Man.
That's actually one of my likes, is that this dude's name is Deacon St. John, and when he's on the radio he goes, Deacon out. Yeah. I think that is I love it. Like it really makes me happy every time he's talking.
I don't mind that his name is Deacon, but St. John is just a little.
You don't like people that use your name. That's what it is. You're selfish with your name.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. You're on to me.
I don't know if I love the character. The character, it's fine, but I will give credit that I think the voice acting in the game, regardless of the story and all that, is top notch. It's played by Sam Witwer, who is probably you probably would be most famous with him for Force Unleashed. He played the main character of that in Force Unleashed 2, and he's the guy who does for Star Wars. He does a ton of Star Wars stuff. Like he's the guy who does the voices for both Darth Maul and Palpatine on Clone Wars and all that kind of stuff. So he's pretty big in that universe. He's been in like sci-fi stuff forever.
He was in the later seasons of Smallville. He played Doomsday.
Yes, he played Doomsday. He was on Battlestar Galactica back in the day.
So all of a sudden, you just know everything about Deacon St. John now too.
Now that he mentioned certain things he was in, I recognize the face.
This is it.
He's good. I think like for the most part, and then like
douche.
Like the woman who voices Sarah in the flashbacks and all that. I think she's good.
I don't think you should have said that.
Well, I mean, that's not very spoiler.
No, I don't think you should have said that. That's just my 2 cents. But
everyone's been talking about the flashbacks because it's got that freaking line that they stole from Sons of Anarchy in it.
Doesn't matter. I don't think you should.
They put it in a trailer. Like literally, there's a trailer with their wedding, and she's all like, "I promise."
I didn't expect flashbacks.
Yeah, it's very. Those are very Uncharted-esque to me.
I don't, and I think that you're going to be all, it's fine because you said it. Now you got to live with it. But I don't think you should have said that.
But regardless,
moving on.
Like the people who voice the guy who voices Boozer Solid, their various camp leaders that you come across in the game, and again, like I think when they're in a cutscene, like you can tell the voice acting is good. Like they had good direction. I think
it's solid, and like you mentioned. The friendship of like Deacon and Boozer is pretty awesome. So the cutscenes with them and something may or may not happen early on in your story, and there is cause for concern. Imagine something happening to one of your friends, good or bad. You're gonna have emotion for that, and you're gonna feel for that. You know what I mean? But imagine whatever the good or bad thing that happens, like Chris said, 700 days after basically the world as you know it ended. It's a really cool dynamic to see those two kind of go at it.
Well, it's the idea of like when you've already lost everything and you got one thing left from this old world.
Yeah.
You fight to do what you can to hold on to it. Right. Yeah. Like, and it means that much to you because after that point, you have to accept you are in a new world and it just is what it is and you have to move on. Yeah. So that I think is actually also handled pretty well. Getting back to what you were saying about the motorcycle. That's one of the two big stars of the game, I think. And, like for sure, like it started out and I was like, this feels a little clunky, but I will say as I started to finally get to the point where I could upgrade the bike and I saw the difference it was making, it was the one piece of upgradable stuff throughout the game that I consistently wanted to improve. Like, because it just felt so good the more and more you upgrade, the more it feels good, the further you can go, the faster you can go, all that kind of stuff. And driving around the world on the bike is well designed, like, so that, like, when there's bridges, sometimes they have parts out and you can boost and do jumps over bridges, and that's cool. So, I think they designed that part of the game well, much like the horses in Red Dead.
I've got the bike as both something I like about the game and something I'm meh about the game. I wrote down the meh part basically before I realized how much of an impact improving your bike really has. And I say that because there's another element of the game that I do not like at all. And you guys know that normally I'm really hesitant to bash something on a game. But I think this game warrants kind of going back and forth on things because of the kind of game it is and
sure
what it is. But so the bike gets better a little bit as you upgrade it. And one thing is just atrocious to me, and it's because I play games like Call of Duty and Destiny, is the shooting of the game. I absolutely hate the clunkiness of how you have to aim and shoot, and that's even with upgrades at camp to weapons, or I've went into the options section for like the speed of vertical aiming and
gotcha.
Done all the things you could do to try to fix it, and I cannot get it right. That's really hindering my gameplay.
It will get better as you get the skill perks.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I agree with you, is like mixed, especially I found myself in the end using rifles and using the focus feature that you can get. I would highly suggest you get that right away, because if you're going to use a rifle in a camp or even on just random zombies as you come across them in the world when they're not that many, like that's the best way to do it with them, because especially until you get those upgrades, it's not that solid. And I think the reason why is that it's designed for more so the end game part of it with the hordes, because with the hordes, like when you have an LMG and it's not perfect, it doesn't matter because there's like 200 freaking bodies coming at you.
It doesn't matter.
So it's fine.
One of the only other games that I really could think of that where you start off in recent memory, at least, and you guys may have more. I don't know, but when I played the Tomb Raider, right, the first Tomb Raider they redid, if you remember, she wasn't that good when you started out. You had to like make her better, but it seemed like it worked earlier versus a game like Days Gone where the shooting and everything. I'm using, basically what I'm telling you is I'm using a baseball bat more often than I should.
Yeah, the melee's great.
The melee's amazing, and I'm using Molotov cocktails because they're amazing.
I will say for the shooting in defense of certain in defense of certain games that we hold up on a pedestal, with the exception of maybe Chris. If you recall The Last of Us, the shooting, and particularly even in Uncharted, the shooting is not good in these games.
Yeah,
they're just not good.
I agree.
And they're overlooked because of what else it does well. Particularly in The Last of Us, I think there was more of a purpose behind making the shooting very wobbly. Your reticule moves a lot because it wants you to feel that tension of a clicker coming at you.
Someone who isn't like maybe a soldier and like you're being asked to
be precise.
Be down with limited ammo.
Yeah.
And I think that works better because it's not an open world game. Right.
Sure.
It's a contained thing. And you can learn and get the script down if you fail and come back and be like, okay, I did this wrong. What if I do this?
Right.
Yeah. But with the shooting, it's like, you can, it doesn't excuse it, because I do agree with you, Sean, but you can sort of, as you progress through the game, you sort of become accustomed to it and train yourself, and you sort of naturally adjust to it. But yeah, it could have been a lot better, like Division 2 better.
Yeah, coming off of the shooting for a third-person game.
Absolutely. Which goes to the cover base as well.
That's real bad.
It's really annoying. It's like, I guess there's not a whole lot of third-person shooter games that are necessarily cover-based. It might be the fact that I've played Division 2 and then jump. You're right.
Yeah.
But I haven't played Gears in a couple of years. So, you go to a cover-based shooter, and then you go to Days Gone, and while you can cover, quote-unquote, it doesn't. You sometimes
don't push X to cover. You literally just go behind a tree.
You go behind and duck and hope that you get a good angle to shoot at your enemy with.
It's very hard to know when you are actually fully in cover and protected. And even then, there are parts of that that completely break the immersion of it. Because, like, for instance, you have the binoculars in the game, right? And you can use it to kind of like very much like Far Cry, right?
Yeah.
Highlight your enemies. When you do this with your character, he actually stands up. Like, I don't know if you've noticed that. Like, when you're playing away, you can actually see him squatting back down. And sure enough, if you are in camp doing this, you will be spotted. I've had it happen to me, and I'm like, why was who thought this was a good idea?
That's a very irritating thing. I noticed it right away, and I went, huh.
Yeah, so I stopped using it.
Like Chris said, it's an immersion thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Because as you're in the midst of going up to said camp, and you learn early on that marking these enemies with the binoculars is key, because now you can study route movements and whatnot. But as soon as you stand up in a bush and the first guy sees you, when you were in the bush exactly how you needed to be, you're like, well, wait, what just happened?
So then you just go to melee.
Yeah, well,
melee and shotgun bowl.
Yeah. I got really good at bouncing around and still taking people out.
Is there a dodge feature in the game?
There is. There's a roll.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's R1. R1 is roll.
I guess that makes sense.
And you should learn it because
I keep getting hit.
If you roll, you're pretty much not going to get hit by anything. Okay. And also another fun fact, if you get into melee combat with someone, everyone who's around you will stop shooting bullets at you until you're finished with your melee combat. So,
well, let me ask see if I've figured anything out or haven't figured anything out. The triangle button sort of switches between your handgun and whatever rifle or whatever you have.
Correct.
Is there some sort of shortcut to get to your crossbow or get to what's that?
Hold down triangle.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah, that's good to know, because I'm right there with John where I'm like
his Lord and Savior.
Because you get to basically hold a melee weapon and two like big guns.
Yes.
You get a sidearm, which is like your pistol or what have you, and
you can like it's like you have your main kind of ranged weapon that can be anything from a bolt action rifle to an AK type thing, and then you have your special weapon, which can be the crossbow, a sniper rifle, or basically an LMG.
Yeah.
So, they all have their perks and their pluses. I did want to get back to what you were saying before.
Which one?
Was you were talking about how, like, you didn't feel there was improvement and all that. And I think it's one of the core issues, and I don't understand it.
Right.
Is early on in this game, it does not feel like you are getting a lot of XP and leveling consistently, which is kind of the opposite of how most of these games work. Like, especially you think of like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed, like those kinds of things. Like, I feel like they're going for the Ubisoft formula here and they just didn't quite hit it. Like, the way those games start is they kind of just dump like the ability to level up consistently for the first couple of hours of that game. So you get like 12, 13 skill points, and you can just put those into the core things and mess around and reset them if you want. And
yeah, like Division 2, I feel like every time we basically do a main story mission,
you level
or spend an hour or two playing the game, you're leveling and you got skill points, and it feels very natural.
Here, I mean, one of the problems I had early on, and I just realized that I'm like, you don't really get that much experience when you're going out there doing like in the world stuff, like taking out the nest or the camps. And therefore you kind of get directed to just start doing quests, because you realize it's the only way. It's really the only way you're going to get significant upgrades. And that's where you just feel like it misses the mark because of that, right? Because then you just start going down this path of always doing the missions. And anyone who's played open world games, I mean, I think one of the big parts people like about these things is being able to find side activities and just go off and do wherever the heck you want, leave the story for whenever, and build your character up, and then come back and do a story when you just feel like, you know what, it feels like it's time. I'll do this now. Or you can be the person who just runs through. It's up to you.
Marty mission.
Yeah, you don't.
Well, I'm
at beeline.
I'm at a point right now where I'm not sure what my clear goal is, and I don't know if I need to focus on exterminating horde infestations, if I need to go take down enemy camps. I'm not sure. And it's just been, I've been tired, but it's like, in each camp you go to, you have that friendship that trust level that goes up, and it helps
which
you.
is so random.
It helps you upgrade your bike because you have to get to a trust level 2, but I'm not exactly sure how you get to that trust level.
Exactly.
To go up. I'm not sure. I'm just sort of aimless doing random things as I see them right now. And it's like this game, if I can find its focus or find the focus for me, I know I'm going to have a good time with this game, and I'm not having a bad time with this game.
No, it's not terrible.
It's an Uncharted game trapped in a Ubisoft game.
That's a fair way to say it. That is fair.
With a motorcycle.
I mean, like,
with a motorcycle.
Again, like, you think of something.
That motorcycle is a godsend. I love the motorcycle.
You think of something like Far Cry, where you start off and it's like, here are all these camps.
Yep.
Go do them, and we'll tell you, if you take this camp out, you're going to unlock this, you're going to unlock that, and you kind of go, okay, this is what I need to prioritize. Like, I want a high grade sniper rifle. That's the camp. I go take it out. Cool. I got that weapon now. Here, as he's saying, for whatever reason, they've put everything behind the trust in these camps that you come across in the game, and it's infuriating because every single one of them has their own leveling up things. They all have like their own thing going on. Like, so the first one you come across is Copeland's. He can do some bike upgrades. The second one you come across can get you guns, better guns. And then the third one is the first one that you come to that has both, guns in there. And the problem is, again, though, you get to like that third one, you go, I'm back to zero trust with this camp. Don't have any currency because the currency is distinct to each camp.
That's disheartening, really, because you would hope that...
I didn't notice that.
You would hope that the camps should have some kind of way to communicate with each other.
Yes.
And go, hey, that deacon, he's a good dude. Y'all should welcome him and he'll take care of you.
There's really no communication between the camps. And like the thing is that...
But you got communication with each camp.
They didn't get each other's emails?
Like, the weird thing is that there is potential conflict, you could argue, between the camps, right? Because like there's even like one of the missions like where you actually, it's like the only time in the game you kind of make a choice of which camp to help, right? At this point, and there's no penalty for what you pick. It's just like, well, where do you want to invest your XP at? That's basically all they're asking you. And it's things like that. I just don't think it works very well because there's no way to go to one camp and go, like, for instance, I wanted to upgrade my bike. That's where I wanted the upgrades.
That's what you're dying to do the whole time.
I don't want to have to every 5 seconds refill my gas tank because it's so
now,
little.
Chris, it's not 5 seconds.
20 seconds.
It really is untraditional of a motorcycle how much gas you have to put in this motorcycle.
It's
it's post-apocalyptic. Oil changes are the thing of the past, so they're probably all just gas guzzlers. And they're doing what they can with what they got.
It's like, isn't it like a motorcycle pretty much like 1 gallon will get you about like 50 miles?
100.
Yeah. And I'm just, what the heck? But, but like you go and you want to upgrade that bike. Well, here's the thing. The only thing you can do is the story missions that are there for the camp they're involved with it, which they're eventually going to turn away and go to a different camp, or do side missions, which are kind of locked behind. Some of them, you can get early, but like they eventually get to a point where they'll stop giving them to you for a little bit until you go to the air camp and move the story forward. And the kicker here is that there's no way to just work to get those things you want. Like you can, they kind of sell this false promise of being able to go hunt animals and swarm, freakers and all that, and trade all those things in for credits at the camp and trust. But it's so negligible that you could do it for hours upon hours and you're not going to get there. And it's like, to get the first level of trust is 5,000. That one's not too bad. The second one is 12,500. No. And then the third one is 25,000 to get to that tier. And I can tell you now, I'm 50 hours in and I'm just now with these camps getting to the point where, in part because they go away for a little while, like there's basically 2 sections of the map in the end. And like there's part of it where you're about to leave the top section and go to the bottom section. You're not going to be able to go back for a while. And there's no way at that point to be at tier 3 unless you just, like I said, you want to go out into the world and hope to find question marks and maybe get experience that way, which happens once in the blue moon, or else, like I said, just for hours upon hours, go hunt zombies. And that's not exactly an exciting grind for anyone, nor a rewarding one, because you're not going to level, you're not going to increase your stats or anything like that, and it gets old.
It might get old, but I gotta say that even just being on the motorcycle and being in the world is fun.
Yeah, I like being in the world.
It's a weird thing to where, the game it's a game we like and we want to like. Mm-hmm. And so I find myself enjoying even the things that maybe drove me a little crazy, like the shooting aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And I even felt like I put the motorcycle, believe it or not, on things that I really do like about the game, and even on the meh part of the game, because having to put gas in the motorcycle so often was very frustrating.
Gas is
that will
everywhere.
go away,
but it is everywhere.
Gas is everywhere.
It makes no sense.
I know.
Well, I mean, it's always one of those things that is set aside as far as suspension of disbelief, like The Walking Dead. Everybody's driving cars 15 years after the apocalypse happens. Now, I think in this latest season, which I think I'm the only one of the three that still watches, they're now doing horse and carriage type stuff. So 700 days after the apocalypse,
plenty of gas, right?
There's, I mean, it's still believable, quote unquote.
I guess,
but the logic stuff, I mean, that goes to the logic of things. Like in the very beginning cutscene, the guy on the helicopter says, "I can only take 2," and your buddy's injured.
Yeah,
put him on the helicopter and go meet him. Now I know that the helicopter apparently, goes down, but logically you put Booze Man on the helicopter because he's hurt.
Booze Man ain't gonna
Instead, you
do
look
that,
at your
man.
wife and say he can't make it without me.
But then,
and you're like, hey, put him on the copter.
But then
we have Band-Aids.
But then you don't have the awesomeness that is Boozer. He's your ride or die, and he's amazing. I love Boozer.
Yeah, he's a great character. Don't get me wrong. A second thing is, I don't know if you've run across this where you may get strung up by a trap, hung upside down in a tree.
Which is why I don't do the question marks.
Well, fair enough. But you get taken to this, you get put in this cage or whatever it is.
It's awesome.
But they forget to take away
you always have your
knife. They don't take away your knife. And the problem is that stuff is not an exception to the rule. There are things like that in every game.
In Zelda,
you're a parkour in Dying Light. You do parkour in the zombie apocalypse. That's dumb, but it's an amazing mechanic.
Yeah.
The problem is there's so many weird, glaring decisions in this game that everything just stands out.
There's
for a game that I'm enjoying. The audience is getting the impression that I might say you don't need to buy this game.
I need to say right now that if I've given an impression that I'm not enjoying the game, I am enjoying it, but there are issues that we're going to talk about. I do just enjoy the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm going to say that several times because there have been times when we talked about a game and I thought you were going to give it a 4, John, and you gave it a 9.
Yeah. So I Chris has talked about. And I caught it on Discord. Chris got 30 to 40 hours into the game and said, I've just now encountered the best thing about the game. But to that point, one of the great things, aside from the motorcycle about this game, are the hordes of zombies you see.
Sure.
And I've seen them. I mean, I haven't fought them,
Correct.
but I've seen them in certain parts of the map just driving by. And as I'm driving by, you see this hundreds of zombies just start running like it's amazing. They operate like gazelles.
Yeah,
they all follow you in this pattern, and that's an amazing part of the game that I give credit to Sony Bend on.
Yeah, I think it's probably gameplay wise the best part of the game, and it's really weird to me. Like as you said, like yes, you will see them. For most of the game, you will at times see them. Like I've randomly
run.
I've come into a cave where I was looking for a Nero thing, to upgrade your stats. And I go into the cave. I'm like, okay, not even thinking about it. And sure enough, 2 seconds later, I was dead because there was a horde in there, not just resting and waiting. And I was like, note, I will come back to this point later. Yeah, like it is the best part of the game. It reminds me a little bit of, Sean, you'll relate to this, Destiny, Vanilla Destiny. Mm-hmm. The best part of the game, what's the best part of the game in Vanilla Destiny that kept everyone playing forever?
The looting. You didn't think I was going to say that.
That's tied to it, but the big thing is the raids, right?
Oh, yeah, the raids, yeah.
Everyone
sure.
will up the raids, but the kicker, the thing that drove people divided people. They had to decide what their loyalties were. And I think it was more so when they patched it out and made it easier with the update that following fall, was that, you had to go through a grind before you got to that. And it's the same thing here. And the thing that sucks is we talked about like how the map doesn't really have a lot of activities that are just kind of open and free to do, for you to do that are like,
good?
Yeah. Right. That are free to do and like give you XP and like, significance of like, hey, there's a reason to go invest in this. The hordes are that, because you get to a point where after you get taught how to, actually do combat with them and are kind of given the core tools you would need to really take one down, like you come back up and the map all of a sudden has all these little red markers throughout, like, and all of a sudden you just see there's like 40, spots that you could just go on the map and confront anything from maybe like 100 people in a horde to like 300 to 400 people in a horde. You just don't know what you're going to get until you get there. And like, that is exhilarating, like planning that out. And, them finally actually, like the very first one I did, it was at night and I had to figure out how I was going to navigate this town.
You took them on at night?
Yeah. And you have to
crazy man.
You have to
in Dying Light. You don't go out at night.
No, and this guy, they tell you that
I sleep
they're
at
not
night.
as strong in the daytime as they are at night.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
You have to.
Yeah, it's a mission.
Okay.
But you're in a place where you have to like figure out what's the best ammo, the guns to use, where to put traps, when to use your throwables. Paths that will allow you to put choke points and, really do work. And the bigger thing, you have limited stamina, right?
Yeah.
You have limited stamina. So you have cocktails.
Limited stamina in a zombie apocalypse.
Like I died the first 2 times. I eventually had to figure out, I'm like, I need to move my bike up here to the town so that like halfway through when I'm out of stamina, I can hop on the old bike for a second and just drive around.
Did you name your bike?
Yeah.
What's it named? Bessie?
No.
Okay.
It's called Yoakum.
Inside joke.
Richard. That's why I named it.
Yeah.
It's my Richard. But yeah, like it's exhilarating, but you're like, I can understand why you don't have it right up front, but I'm just thinking like, man, if you had to introduce this like 15, 20 hours in this game, it would have made, you would have felt exhilarating.
Now,
it would have been a perfect point to introduce it.
Now, is it introduced? Answer this question just for the yes or no. Is it introduced via playing the story?
Yes.
So, and you focused your gameplay on the story.
I had to.
So basically, no matter what, you still had to go as far as you went into the game before this came out.
I mean, you could try.
Yeah.
Especially after you get an LMG, I would say you could try, but man, I would think, unless you're just really smart, and probably I would think you'd have to drop it down to easy. I don't know how you do it.
Easy mode.
Yeah. I don't know how you're doing it.
I don't need the AI to be any more dumb.
Because these are like, the first one I did, it was about 10, 12 minutes before I finally got it done. So I don't know how you're doing that with just like level 2 weapons, I
got to say that I haven't at all been upset that the map doesn't have a gajillion things on it, like the end of, say, like a Spider-Man map looks. Because I'm one of those.
The map was empty when you first started Spider-Man, so I'm just trying to give it that.
The end point.
I would have been fine with that. That's why
I know, but okay, sorry.
I'm saying because when I see all the things, I feel like, oh my God, I got to do all the things. I like that it's paced right now, that there's only a few things. Do the few things and
sure,
and let it kind of open itself up.
And they do that to be fair, like because like first like here's a nest, and now finally here's an ambush camp, and then finally here's a Nero checkpoint, and you start to go, okay, those are things, but those for the most part they're not a ton of them. Okay. Especially on the top part of the map, where I think if you come into a new region on the main part of the map, you could easily drive around an hour and probably knock them all out. It's not a fast thing. But then like you get this and you go hordes, and the kicker with hordes is that it takes so much prep work to do them for better and worse, that you know that this is going to be something, if you want to clear all the nests of the map, it's probably going to take you a while.
Why can't you just take all the gas cans in the world,
And just burn all of them.
Just take it to a nest and just douse the entire place, and then as they start running to you, just go.
You can shoot gas. I mean, like you'll shoot gas cans. Yeah. Like I blew up a gas station just about at one point to take them out.
That is one thing I've liked so far. It introduces the way the weapons can adapt. We you just talking about that made me think about the first time I got nails in my bat.
That's why it's so good.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I think that's crucial when you have a quote unquote zombie game, that you can be maybe not what was the one that was it Dead Rising 4? No. What was the zombie game where you would create like
State of Decay?
No. If he listened, Cam would totally hate me right now.
Please listen, Cam.
I'm having
where you can create your own weapons?
Yeah, it was the creating the weapons.
Dead Island?
No.
Dying Light does that.
No, it's neither one of these games. It was number 4.
Fallout 4?
No. It had zombies in it.
Oh, Left 4 Dead?
No.
I'm running out of things.
I think it's Dead Rising's not a game.
Oh, Dead Rising, yeah. Dead Rising 3 and 4.
The one that came out like on Xbox on day 1.
Yeah, and like you could get the motorcycle and just like plow through them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fun about killing hordes of and thousands of zombies, because you have these crazy, insane weapon adaptations, or you're on this 4-wheeler that now has like a dump truck back, and there's like all kind of crazy stuff, and you're just running through zombies.
One of the disappointing parts here, you can't really run over the zombies without doing damage to your bike, which kind of sucks. Yeah,
but that's realistic.
Well, but no, you don't want that.
You run somebody over with your bike, you're going to damage your bike.
Sir, I hit deers all the time with my car in GTA for good measure.
Well, that's my point. Fixing your bike,
make any logical sense.
Fixing your bike when it has damage has been easy. I don't know if that gets harder. If you literally just push a button and for a minute he fixes it and your bike is fixed.
If you've got scrap.
But then again, that goes back to scrap has been pretty easy for me to find so far. I don't know if that changes.
Have you tried to fill up your gas tank yet when like 6 zombies are running at you?
No, but that's pretty exhilarating. Yeah.
It's like
quickly. But that gets to a thing as far as when you bring up scrap. Another thing that I didn't quite understand with this game. So this is supposed to be a post-apocalyptic game, right? And one of the niches of these games, whether you're talking about Fallout or whatever else, is the idea of anything that seems insignificant is, valuable now. Like as far as to you, the person, because it can eventually become something that helps you further down the line. So Fallout, you are picking up every little stupid thing from a tin can to whatever and storing it. And here, I understand why they put caps on you as far as what you can carry on you. But it's beyond me that, especially with the material side of things, you would not have a place to go store that and build it up. Because as you're going to find when you get to the later parts of this game, and, like for instance, the nest, right? Like there's only one way to destroy those, and that's with fire. And there's only one way to make a firebomb in this game. You better find some kerosene,
you
right?
can use grenades.
I don't believe so. Can you? Oh, okay. Well, I'm wrong on that, but still, like things like that, they become restrictive, and like even though you can eventually expand your what you can carry, it's not that much. And it would have been, especially now where I'm going towards the hordes, right? If I had been able to pick up I can make napalm now, and if I had been able to pick up growlers for hours and tons of kerosene and tons of plastic, all these things I need to make it, it would be nice to then go back to my camp or whatever, right? Wherever I'm situated, and open up a trunk and be like, okay, let's craft these things. Now I've got all that. Refill, go off to the next horde. Keep having fun. Instead, it's a lot of, you get to a point where you're just picking up dead bodies and it goes, sorry, man, your sterilizers are full. Your rags are full. Everything is full because you've crafted everything. If you're not using things, you're just, you don't have a use for them at the moment, instead of what you would normally do in these games. I think collect everything, take it back somewhere, and then start again.
I do love, speaking of the crafting.
Far Cry doesn't have that.
Far Cry isn't post-apocalyptic, but
New Dawn is.
Yeah, true.
Owned.
I haven't played New Dawn, so I can't speak to it. But like I'm just thinking of most of these types of games. That's the idea. And it just feels like I don't understand it. Like, cause even like something
I think you're
Skyrim,
overthinking it. Maybe
I think I can understand if you're requiring these materials and further down the game you're going to have to build something huge.
Yeah.
huge.
That would make sense. But if you're not really building anything huge where piling up stuff makes sense, I don't know. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn didn't really do that
Oh my
for
God,
you.
why would you bring that up?
You couldn't store stuff. I mean, she had a bigger inventory, I think.
Yeah.
but
Like there was no limit to what she could carry. And that's
there
fine.
was limit to what she could carry.
Yeah.
Owned.
I mean, like,
Owned again.
whether it be like
New bit, dude.
my point is like the most you can ever carry, like for material, I think the most like scrap you can ever carry is 20, and that goes quick later on. Like when you're repairing a bat that's almost ready to break, that's 8 to,
I just picked up a new
if you ever
bat, dude.
have you ever broken your bike? You're talking about that, repairing it.
No, I keep an eye on that.
To repair it, like if you ever just have an instance where something bad happens
I
to
rode
you.
off a cliff once.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't realize it was there.
So you killed Epona like I did.
I
Yeah.
did.
it's like 8 or 9. It's like 8 or 9 scrap to repair it from 0.
I was talking about crafting a minute ago, and one of the things I do like is the on the fly, the way the user interface system comes up, and you can use that little wheel to get to what you want to use next. And if I'm throwing, like, say, a Molotov, and I threw my last one, and if I have the parts, I can easily craft one and immediately have it in my hand to throw it at the zombies running at me. I like how time kind of slows down. So if zombies are running at you, and you pull that crafting wheel up or whatever, that wheel with your parts, I find that to be a plus in the game, the interface to actually do that.
Is there an upgrade at some point where fast travel doesn't consume gas?
No.
Okay.
The only restrictions
yeah.
on it are your gas, and basically, if you want to fast travel somewhere, you have to have cleared the freaker nests that are on your path.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, people forget this, but in Horizon Zero Dawn, fast travel initially required backpacks.
Yes.
I mean, you could get an upgrade at some point in the game where you no longer require
I gotta play
it.
the game, huh?
But one of the cool things, this game, if you're concerned about atmosphere in a zombie apocalypse game, this game to me nails the atmosphere. And one of the things about Bend Studios is their studio was actually in Bend, Oregon. If you know.
Yeah.
So they're basically looking out their window and seeing the open world and getting that inspiration. I think there was a moment in the game early on where you go up that lookout tower, and that's the moment I first realized, I'm like, wow, this is actually a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I didn't didn't realize it until I got up on that tower.
That's really well said. Oregon, and like it's like Chris said, it's based out of in Oregon. It's a nice place, very muddy.
It's a nice place.
Nice place. I mean, I love the setting and what.
Portland is beautiful.
There's a scene where it's where Deke is fighting with some guys,
Yeah.
and one of the guys has a do-rag on. That's a Confederate flag
Yeah, they're rednecks.
in Oregon.
No, that's the way. I have a friend who
In Oregon.
actually, well, maybe not the flag part, but as far as like the redneck side of it.
No.
like,
Yeah, a redneck in California is just, but
It's pretty much like
a
you have-
Confederate flag in Oregon is just as weird as those Southern accents you hear in Montana from Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
It's like you guys have absolutely no idea geographically what you guys are talking about. It just logic.
Rednecks are everywhere.
Yeah, John.
It's just the way it is.
Just because you're
And
from
they
this
all
part of the
talk
world,
like this.
this is what they think of us, John. Everywhere else.
But really, I think as I've thought about this game, I agree with you. It's not a terrible game.
It's not
just
bad.
It's just one that, unfortunately, I think in the end lacks direction. Like a direction in the way, not in like,
Go here.
here's your motivation, but more so of a like, look, how do we make this world work to tie and make it consistently? The fact that we're asking people to play this for 50 hours, how do we keep them entertained and energized and, engaged in our game? And like when you have all these systems that aren't working that well together and kind of seem to have conflict at odds at times, and then you tack it on to really, as you said, like, yes, you get to a point where you're just doing story missions. And I'll be honest, a lot of the story missions especially the side missions, they're pretty much all the same thing. It's like, it's either going to be, hey man, this dude killed someone, go hunt him down for us, or it's this person got kidnapped by this marauder group, go get him back for us, or find out what happened to him. And then like every now and then go do this thing for freakers, or, you know, or do this one thing for the camp that we need to do to progress the story finally. And that's what a lot of it is. And if you say, like, as John said, like, he's 15 hours in, you're not even to Lost Lake yet, right?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, that tells you something, like, and that chunk of the game is huge. And when I got done, I was like, surely I'd be near the end. So I looked up a wiki as far as this, and like,
cheated.
And I said, like, hey, when I finish this area, what does that mean? They're like, that you're about the halfway point of the game. I was like, dear Lord, it just didn't make any sense why it was going this long to me.
That's also what she said. I like the story so far. I may be in the complete other side of what everybody else thinks. I like everything about the radio banter, the interaction with Boozer, the environment. I love the story.
Those parts are good.
There's not a lot of, I mean, there's some that you may leave to your imagination. Everything about it right now, like I put that as a positive for me.
It's kind of like, one, there's no great villains in the game, if I'm being honest. Like the big one.
Thanks, Chris.
It's called Zombie Horde.
Yeah. I mean, like
it's called the Apocalypse, Chris.
There's no Far Cry villains in the game. That's a good way to say it, right? They're just kind of there, and, you know, to be fair, for some of them, you definitely see what their motivations are, and they make sense, but you're kind of like, okay, this is happening, I guess I'll deal with it. That's how it felt. Like, I was never really that engaged. I'm right at the end, I'm presuming at this point. If it's not the end, I'm going to be shocked, and I'm going to be like, what the hell? Right. But, you know, there's even like one villain that is kind of built for part of it. And they tried to do this reveal thing, and it just felt like it lacked any kind of context to it that was meaningful for you, because it's just being.
Did you miss something?
No, it's like they talk about this villain, but there's like never a context to what's going on with it. It's just like, well, he's this dude and he's doing these bad things, and that's it. And then like all of a sudden there's this kind of thing that's meant to,
well, look, dude,
bring it, and you're just like. You just told me this. I had no build up.
Well, in Star Wars A New Hope, we didn't know who Darth Vader was, but we knew he was a bad guy.
Yeah, but he's not the main bad of the game. So, you know.
He was at that point.
I mean, this.
Oh, you're saying Darth Vader's not in Days Gone?
Yeah.
That sucks. Taking it back.
So, I mean, you kind of just go, and then, like I said, eventually you get to the Horde stuff, and you're like, okay, this is fun and exciting. And I think for most people, it's going to be just, how long do they want to do that until they're satisfied, you know, and go, time to move on to something else. I think that's where most people are going to fall. Well, I would be interested to see what they could do in a sequel, maybe.
Well, the interesting thing is, for someone who doesn't put a lot of stock in Metacritic, I do often talk about it a lot, so I understand the dichotomy there. Ooh! But the user score is not significantly higher, but there's a real discrepancy between what reviewers have been saying versus what the users have been saying. And we don't know how well this game is doing in the US, but
in the UK at least,
it's 2 weeks in a row at number one. In fact, in the UK, it had its biggest week. Okay. It had its biggest launch of the year, and that includes Division, that includes
for physical,
all that stuff. So who knows what that means? Over the past several months, whatever's happening in the UK tends to not reflect what's going on everywhere else. But I really think that this is one of those games where the critical reviews are really not going to hurt the sales of the game. Sony Bend is going to be working on their next project. I don't think anything bad's going to happen to Sony Bend.
Well, I think people, they have such to be fair, like Sony has had such a great run of first party, especially open world titles, right? When you think of Spider-Man, Infamous 2, God of War, right? Horizon Zero Dawn.
Sony did that. So Sony did that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Guerrilla Studios.
Guerrilla Games.
But that probably helped them. And then again, yes, regardless, even if it feels like it's waning to some degree, like truth is zombies are still popular. And there's definitely people out there again, like who would love to have a bike.
I wonder if that's why they delayed the game so long. If they felt there was an oversaturation of zombies.
Because there is one last thing to talk about, which is that the game has technical issues, and they're not apparent at first. That was the weird part, right? Like outside of basic stuff, like, yeah, there's major texture pop in as you're riding around fast on a motorcycle at times, like where you just see a tree go from low res to high res.
Well,
like,
I think I mentioned it on the show last week or in our conversations that technically the motorcycle
is a car.
Is a car, but they had to sort of trick the engine into sort of doing whatever it needed to do to operate like a motorcycle. But you're actually driving a car that's invisible. And I'm wondering, I really don't understand how that works. And yeah, I'm wondering if these technical issues are just, that's one of the more famous examples of maybe the problems over stacked on problems with whatever engine this was. And I don't think the game even queues up. What is it, Unreal?
Yeah, it's Unreal.
Yeah, it's an Unreal engine.
Well, Unreal sucks.
Yeah,
clearly.
I think it's
most like worse than Frostbite.
Most people will start to experience it when they get to the Lost Lake region, and it's also really bad in the Crater Lake region later on, which is that the frame rate starts dropping a lot at times when you're on the motorcycle, where you can just tell it's chugging. That PS4
That's
Pro,
because you're going faster than reality.
Yeah. You get that.
And there's tears in the fabric of
I had that. I had a really bad stretch where, for whatever reason, the audio was desyncing from the video and would like trail like 10 seconds. Like I literally watched a guy have something horrific happen to him on video. And then and then all of a sudden, and you're like, that's just weird.
He was so shocked, you know.
That would be if that happens to me.
Your guts are getting ripped out and you go down and go, huh.
Yeah. Because at this point, I've had zero issues.
The first couple hours were fine.
Well, you saw that video I sent. That was my game last night, where for some reason all of a sudden there was this random NPC in that cemetery area.
So that was you.
That was me.
Okay, that's great.
In the car, and he was just going up and down like there was somebody under him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've had,
and then I walk away about 20 feet, turn around, and somehow he had kind of morphed onto the top of the car.
That's great.
And I couldn't shoot him.
Oh, that's
He would not die. I got up on the car. He just stared at me.
He's like, hey.
It was like an inoperable NPC.
Oh, because you're supposed to save him when they're in the cars. That's what you're doing. So you should have gone up and hit square, but it probably wouldn't even let you done that. Yeah, I had one point where I was driving into a camp.
You're messing with me, right?
No. I was driving into a camp.
The windows were broken. You could just crawl out.
He needs help.
Don't try to logic it.
Yeah, dude. He needs help, bro.
There was one part where I was driving back to camp, and I guess the bridge didn't load that goes in the camp, so I fell off the side of a cliff beneath the world. I had an audio bug where I was on a mission, and this NPC's like, where are we going? And he's like, going up here. This is the path to this way. And they repeated it.
Worst deke ever.
Yeah. Well, he's shouting it. While he's going up this mountain, and like for 8 minutes straight, I had to hear them repeat that like loop. They just got stuck in a loop. I've had NPCs get stuck and I can't advance it, and I had to just quit the game and restart. So there are a slew of technical issues with the game.
That's unexcusable.
Some of it's that.
Yes, it is.
Some of it's intentional and bad, like the radio guy.
Oh, I hate that guy.
When you hear, I don't even hate the radio guy. I don't hate that. But when it's over, Deke starts shouting out loud about how wrong the radio guy is. I'm like, who hears you, dude? And then you're on a motorcycle with somebody, you're having the conversation, and then you're having this quiet, monotone conversation, and then all of a sudden you guys start shouting.
Let me tell you something, Copeland.
Because I guess the engine assumes that the motorcycle's revving louder. Like it's trying to compensate for that realism.
Even though we're trying to be as quiet as possible. But like that's happening. The other one that's really weird and jarring is when you go into these Marauder camps, right? And like, as soon as Deke kills someone, he's like, yeah, you're going to burn. Yeah. How's it feel? And he's just saying this to himself as you just go around and put like a bat with nails and rules. Just like, it's so weird. You're just like, what is going on?
I'm changing Burgess's name to Deke.
And then like you go back to camp and
fantastic.
But you like do that and you go back to camp and you're like, gotta keep our humanity.
Gotta keep our humanity. Yeah, he's got this code.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not sure what.
Yeah, that code gets him in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won't kill women is his big thing.
Big man.
Yeah.
I like it though.
Yeah. So,
I think it's time. I think it's time.
Yeah.
Just right off the jump, and I don't fault anybody for giving it a score. I'm not giving it a score because I don't feel like it's hard for me to justify you personally, you putting 50 hours in, me putting 15 and thinking I can score this thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that
Can you give a tentative score?
Okay.
Based on where you're at. We won't call it an official Richard. I'm thinking around the world of like an 8 so far. I don't know where that's going to go.
Well, I'll put it this way.
I think that's the highest it could be.
IGN gave their game a 6.5. Mm-hmm. I disagree with that score.
Based on where you're at.
But it doesn't bother me that they gave it a 6.5. It doesn't bother me. Now, the GameSpot score, a 5, unless there's something shockingly bad that happens over the course of my experience with this game.
If I get to a point,
I'll say this.
That's nonsense.
I read her
nonsense.
review, and I'll give her this. It's an opinion, right?
Sure.
I read her review because I was like, God, why is this so low? And then like I read it, I was like, she lays out her argument why she didn't like it. At least, I was like, it's clear as day.
What was it?
It was, I mean, basically, yeah, the technical issues, the fact that there was a grind that just didn't feel too rewarding, and she just didn't care for the story that much. She's kind of said she didn't relate to anything.
So right now, I like the story. I haven't experienced technical issues, and grinding's part of video games in open world. So unless the last two change, it'll stay around like an 8-ish. Cause there are things like I've pointed out that just bother me. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
If you keep playing, I am interested because I've seen this like on a lot of the gaming groups I circle around, right, where they're like that. Like they're earlier on.
You got that visual of Chris just circling around gaming groups and like his
just like
a scooter,
yeah,
doing his one little little foot push every once in a while.
Just going.
I'm gonna be having nightmares about. He's got little bell.
Yeah, ding 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 ding.
He's
wearing a helmet for no reason.
I'm either doing one of two things at that point. I'm either going I'm either going, oh yes, come out to play, or I'm going, hiya, Georgie.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Hiya, Georgie.
But I'm interested because I have seen now like a lot where people like when they go like I'm 7 hours in, I don't understand what what everyone's talking about, and I always say this, I'm like, come back to me like when you're about 30 hours in, tell me what you think of that, because I mean it like with all due respect, because I think I had a point when I went to Lost Lake and I got to that camp. It was the first time there were characters that are like, okay, I like these characters. These are really cool, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit more connection than just what I've gotten with Booze. Old Booze man. So, that was nice. And then it kept going. And it just kept going. And kept going. Then I go to another area that just kept going. And you're just like, oh, okay. It is what it is. When I look at my Richard score, I think I'm like in line of like the review guide of like how they rate things as far as like they say this is masterful and that's what it is. And this is, it's an okay game. It's an okay, like I don't think it's broke. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it really does anything truly exceptional through my 50 hours that made me go, wow. Like I've fought games, as Sean said, I can fight games with hordes in it. That's called Dead Rising. And that's very satisfying. I can play open world games, and I can ride a bike in GTA, if need be. So I've gone up and down, but I gotta go 6.25. Sorry. But,
but do you like the game?
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Isn't that weird? It's like
it's not bad.
Whenever,
it's
normally
not great.
If we're talking about a 6 or a 7 that we give a game, we're like, But there's just something likable about this game. It's almost like for me, it's like an underdog that I want to root for.
Yeah,
but he's swinging and missing on some things.
Well, exactly. That's
the problem. The problem with scores in video games is everybody cares about the number. Nobody cares about what the article says or what the review says. And you'll go see the Metacritic calculation is different with movies as opposed to games. And there's something really atrocious about our expectation of games being an 8.5 or above. Otherwise, we just skip it. And I've said this many times before. If you don't play sevens, you're letting the best games pass you by.
Possible, yeah, for sure.
I would just tell people
but I think our audience is sophisticated enough to understand.
Yeah, they're smart. Yeah.
I would just tell people, look, as I said, if you just really want this kind of game or you've been jonesing for it, fine, go get it. It works. It's fine. And you'll know if it was a good purchase or not. But otherwise, I would say you probably can wait a couple of months and dude, for $30, yeah, sure, buy this game, or if it comes to PlayStation Plus, yeah, download it. Go for it.
I got to tell you, I was surprised by how low the scores were. And that's only because the previews of the game over the past several months were coming out the gate really strong. And I was like, I wasn't thinking it was going to be in the 8.5 and above, but I was thinking maybe it would be sort of in the low 8 range as far as the total score. So I was just really taken aback by how low it was.
I was listening,
even though technically it's not that low.
Yeah, I was listening to Greg Miller and he kind of explained it. He's like, I don't think people get it is like when the big problem is repetition over a very long period is like when you play a game for 2 hours, you can be impressed by something in the first time you do it. And he said the other big thing was, he said like basically they showed them the opening and then they took them forward in time and gave them like 20 skills. And if you can start this game off with a ton of skills, because really the way the tiers of the skills are put out, I don't like. It's you have to invest multiple things into maybe things you don't want to get the one thing you do want out of one of the tiers. If you can just go ahead and bypass all that and pick the ones you want, it makes it a lot easier to get into it, I think, and craft a character you're going to enjoy.
Whenever I say it or whenever you guys say it or whenever a games journalist says it, when they criticize a game for being repetitive, I reject that criticism outright because there's never anything wrong with repetition in a game.
No.
Ubisoft's games, open world games, are repetitive. They are just nothing but. It's not whether a game is repetitive; it's how frequently and how quickly it rewards that repetition,
and how well the loop is of the repetition.
Yeah, if that repetition is compelling, and rewarding.
Yes, you could play Tetris. People have been playing Tetris for 30 years. It's the exact same thing, no matter what, every single time, right? And people love it because
Tetris
it's just
99,
it's a good loop. People like it. I don't know if that's true here.
We'll see.
I hope you play it through. Let me know.
I do want to play it. I like the premise of where I'm at. I do have. I'm cautiously optimistic about where I'm going to end up with this game. I don't want it to be bad.
Let me know. I really do. But before you finish it, pick up Horizon Zero Dawn. You can get it done in about 30 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's nowhere near as long.
Such a great game.
Yes.
It is the best exclusive on the PlayStation 5.
What I liked about that, in retrospect to something like this, like
that's not true.
They would tell you what the main path was, right, and there was no punishment for just deciding you wanted to do that. Yeah. If that's what you wanted to do, you could go do it, and that was cool. So they let you decide what your time was worth. You guys want to do some news?
Yeah, I like that. Let's pivot.
Pivot.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
News from the future. No? Okay, sorry.
No, not from the future.
From the year 2000.
Can we start it?
Yeah, there it is.
Can we get started?
Do it.
Okay. So, speaking of Gamescom.
What?
That's hilarious.
There's no Gamescom for Blizzard.
Boo.
Blizzard has announced, I kind of dabble between Oreo Blizzards and Peanut Butter Cup Blizzards. Well, Blizzard has announced that it will not be attending Gamescom in 2019. Quote, stuck in the past, as part of a renewed effort this year to maintain our focus on development for our current games and our future projects like the Diablo mobile game.
Terrible.
We won't have a booth at Gamescom 2019. We're also looking forward to sharing more details about the projects we're currently working on when the time is right.
BlizzCon.
Yeah, it's called BlizzCon.
In the past, Blizzard has always been in attendance at Gamescom with a sizable presence and booth.
They do have a sizable presence. That's what the ladies
Yeah,
tell me.
Blizzard's amazing. They're going to be just fine at BlizzCon. I think
they're
they want.
going to be great.
I think they want to
They're gonna be
right the ship
They want to rewrite history.
Yeah,
at BlizzCon and make people forget about last year.
makes sense.
So I think their focus and effort is going to be completely into that, John.
Speaking of things that made sense,
This is
Huge.
sensible. Huge. Epic acquires Rocket League. Fortnite creator Epic Games has acquired Psyonix, the studio behind Rocket League. Rocket League. Psyonix revealed the news on its blog and promised positive changes for the game and its community because of this acquisition. Jesus, I'm struggling.
terrible.
Rocket League always has been and always will be a community-driven game. And now that we have joined forces with Epic, we will be able to serve our community in even bigger and better ways. There's an exclamation point. I had to do that.
Ways!
That's so Ron Burgundy.
Future plans include bringing the game to Epic Game Store, and we'll grow the game from there in ways not possible before. It has been speculated that this say it for me, John.
Acquisition.
When Chris has to say a word for me, that's how bad I'm struggling. Will cause exclusive availability in Epic Game Store, thus removing it from Steam at some point.
Interesting.
Acquisition. I can say
This is huge. Very
It is
huge. One of the
huge.
bigger
It's huge.
indie games out there going to one of the bigger free-to-play games out there, right?
I don't know.
Huge.
I'm guessing this means that, you'll probably see some sort of cross.
Fortnite cars.
Yeah, you'll have Fortnite. You'll have Rocket League cars in Fortnite, and you'll have, Fortnite design cars in Rocket League, I'm sure.
so sick of Fortnite.
Too bad.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just sick of
I know why.
I'm sick of it being in the pop culture lexicon, right? I just wish it would go ahead and go away.
It'll never go
so
away.
I can be irritated by something new that comes along.
That's a fair point, John.
It's
Fair
not that
point.
I don't hate the game. It's just like it's all the time.
Yeah.
It's all, particularly when you have a 13-year-old kid in your house. It's all the time.
If you kick them out, that solves the problem.
That's the
I find.
root of your problem, John.
Yeah.
That's the root.
Children, yes.
Yeah. Speaking of games you like,
Bloodstained gets a release date. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, the spiritual successor to Castlevania by Koji Igarashi, will be released on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on June 18th, and on Nintendo Switch on June 25th. The Kickstarter for this game began in 2015 and raised $5 million. The game was delayed in order to raise the quality level, with the Vita version of the game being canceled. The release trailer begins with showing tweets of fans taking issue with various quality concerns for the game. It got panned heavily a while back because for some reason, people didn't find the art style to be very good. The creator of the game is shown sitting at a table in this particular trailer, this newest one, sitting at a table drinking wine following the harsh tweets. He throws his wine glass and says, "I will prove them wrong." The trailer shows how far the game has come regarding the visuals, and there's obviously a dramatic improvement. The game at this point, from the trailer, because it shows side-by-side comparisons about what was criticized and what it looks like now.
Yeah, it's more
the game is
artistic.
gorgeous. I mean, it's fundamentally gorgeous, but it was never an ugly game to begin with. They were trying to harken back to Symphony of the Night,
Yeah.
but people just weren't having it.
I gotta say,
I'm
watching.
really looking forward to this game.
I watched the trailer today, and I don't know. To me, it's kind of like the same level dude from Mega Man making his game, right? Like, I'm like,
hey,
I'm gonna step back and see how that turns out before I go full all in. I hope it's good, but I don't know.
dude,
But they definitely improved the art style. I will give them that.
you own Django Unchained?
I do.
It's nice.
Django.
I wonder what DVDs or Blu-rays I actually own that I've forgotten about.
That was when I had to do my rewatch for Tarantino trivia. Still haven't put it up.
Nerd. You're a nerd.
Call of Duty reveal in June. During the recent Activision financial briefing, it was confirmed that the next game in the Call of Duty series will be revealed within the next 2 months. It is possible that the game will be revealed prior to E3 at a separate event, like was done for Call of Duty Black Ops 4. The briefing gave no indication or hint at what the game will be, although it has been rumored to be another Modern Warfare entry.
Yeah, that's usually what they do. Like in May, they'll have a
It's gonna be
thing.
May. I did that for John. He loves it. You should all tweet at John and tell him how much you love It's Gonna Be May.
It's all that you do.
And make it meme
Do it all
city.
for you, John. They usually do
gonna
this,
be
right?
May.
Like they do kind of like a setting and a story base and maybe show a hint of gameplay. And then usually around E3, they come out on one of the stages and be like, okay, here's all the things. Like here's actual gameplay. Here's the maps. Here's more context to what's going on.
I'm pretty sure they did mention a story campaign.
Yeah, that's what they keep saying is that this one will have it.
Well, speaking of story campaigns,
Boo.
Ubisoft teases Ghost Recon reveal. Ubisoft has officially announced that a Ghost Recon world premiere event is coming on May 9th at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. And Sean, what is that Eastern time?
It's a great question, John.
2:30.
There you go.
Yeah.
The reveal on Twitter reads, quote, calling all ghosts. Tune into the Ghost Recon world premiere event. Ubisoft has not specifically said whether this new announcement relates to Wildlands or a brand new game. It is assumed that it will announce something for the former. And Chris, Wildlands is not that old. I think we actually covered it on the show.
And it makes a
last
lot
year.
of money.
Does it still? I thought
Yeah.
I thought Rainbow Six was the top tier.
That's
It
their
is.
top, but like that's in their bucket now of things that just makes them money, you know? So I would imagine also it wouldn't make sense to put a new Ghost Recon unless they are not doing an open world Ghost Recon. They're going back and being like old school Ghost Recon.
I've seen John Bernthal as a character in certain trailers for Ghost Recon. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with that.
I don't know. But I would bet it's probably an expansion to Wildlands. Because I would imagine the next time you see a new Ghost Recon, true new one, more than likely would be with the launch of the next generation. But who knows? Like maybe they're going to just tease this up and say it's coming in 2020 and they're going to launch it with the two new systems.
Well, I went ahead and hit the old install button on this game.
Well, there you go. It's not a bad game. It's fun.
It's $15. It was $15.
Definitely worth it.
It will
for that.
love me long time.
You will enjoy it.
Why you look at me like that? You look all glassy.
Except for the
eyed.
helicopters. You probably won't like the helicopter. I
The
don't know
Healy
why.
choppers?
Yeah, they don't drive well. I don't know why.
Who knows? Hey, speaking of other games,
Yes!
PS Plus games for May 2019. The free PlayStation Plus games for May will be Overcooked and What Remains of Edith Finch.
Trash.
You should hit the next one too.
Yeah, I'm going to because, that was a sentence.
Boom.
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. Did you want me to just
No.
really
You
poetically...
do this.
No. I was.
Yeah,
You
quit.
are here.
Why don't you do this once in a while? You see how hard it is.
And here we go. The end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. New to Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft announced new games coming to Xbox Game Pass in May.
What are those?
Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus.
9. Sorry.
You're supposed to
You
let
should
him do that.
Hey, oh wait, hey.
That's my thing.
Sean,
let me
I'm mad
say
on
that.
your behalf.
Hey, Sean.
What?
Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus.
9!
There you go.
Wargroove, Lego Batman 3,
Batman.
Surviving
Batman?
Mars,
Yeah.
Black Desert. It does not say online, so boo.
I think it is.
Maybe. I'm sorry. Probably is.
The Surge, and For the King.
You didn't say it right.
What?
For the king!
That's your,
the king.
You have to make it like you're riding out to death.
Make way for the king.
I think you guys got it.
There you go.
BioWare.
So that's it, huh? We're not going to say anything we're excited about?
Nope.
All
Nah.
right. Cool.
BioWare
Good game.
is 100%
100.
committed to Bellevue. In spite of speculation that BioWare is moving much of its team from Anthem to the future Dragon Age 4, they have iterated that they remain 100%, that's a quote, 100% committed to Anthem, end quote. According to a tweet from Michael Gamble, lead producer, quote, "There's been a lot of incorrect speculation on this. The studio's support and commitment to Anthem has not changed."
Yeah, they went all in on Anthem.
I think Sean, sorry, not Sean. I think Chris would say at this moment that's PR speak.
I would say
because it's fundamental.
wait.
It's a fundamental truth that you can still maintain the Anthem stuff and move your core team to a new project.
I would say, given what happened to Mass Effect Andromeda, I'm very much in a wait and see. It's like, if you do it, I will give you props. Otherwise, I will be like, I'm not surprised because, if you've had like as much drop off in player base as they've reported with Anthem, yeah, why not just move to the next thing that can make you some money? You've gotten everything out of this you can.
Why not? Speaking of looter shooters,
Borderlands 3 is long.
That was a good one, wasn't it? That was
Yeah. According to developers, if you, quote, beeline Borderlands 3, it will take around 30 hours to complete.
Good luck.
According to Paul, how do you say that? Sage or Sagi?
I like Sagi.
Paul Sagi, creative director. You could accomplish 30 hours if you simply ignored every other side quest. This is on par with Borderlands 2, which took around the same time, with no side quest or exploring, which...
Yeah, I think most people say it's like 50 to 60 hours.
If you play Borderlands, how do you not do side quest or exploring?
If you do everything in Borderlands 2, somebody said they clocked around 112 hours.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Like for most people,
so much.
Most people, it's going to be like 50, 60 hours if they play it. But yeah, and then you go to the hardcoreness.
It's so fun, Chris. It's so fun.
I can't wait. Sony can't wait.
I can't.
4?
Yeah. This is going to be a solid 10 minutes. Sony announced a second state of play. Sony has announced the second state of play. I love when I do the title and then I just repeat it in the sentence.
Yeah.
Sony has announced a second state of play. Live stream is coming on May 9th at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
So why could you put that there but not before?
Thanks a lot,
because when I was
team.
plagiarizing it, it didn't say that.
Ah, okay. Fair enough.
There will be an extended look at Medieval and the first look at an undisclosed new title, Days Gone 2.
No.
Update.
It's going to be a Ghostlands game that they're going to tie in from the earlier announcement.
It's going to be the Order 1886 Part 2.
It's also on May 9th,
Another
John.
15-minute game.
I know, but...
They're at 11.
Oh, yeah.
It could be.
Whoa.
Your mind is blown.
Whoa. What?
What? Speaking of Bill and Ted, they're having another one, I think.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
They're trying.
Updates
really
and
weird.
announcements surrounding other upcoming PlayStation 4 games will be present as well to relay to people that every game that they announced at E3 last year will be delayed to PlayStation 5. Sony did
Fair.
reiterate that there will be no, quote, updates relating to our next generation plans, blah, 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 end quote. The live stream will last about 10 minutes, which is average, and can be watched on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook.
My state of play is not 10 minutes.
Just
really?
average.
Just saying.
Really?
Yeah, my average.
Anything over 10 is a wait. It's like, ugh. I'm
I said
done.
it's about average.
Yeah. Get in there and get it done, buddy. That's what you got to do. Stay focused.
Maybe get refocused?
Yeah, just like Sega, following a significant drop in earnings, Sega is gearing up to refocus on its existing IP like Persona, Sonic, and Yakuza, and avoid developing too many new ones. 2018 saw profits drop 70% for the company. That's not good. That's almost 100%.
I don't know how this company is still alive.
Right.
After all this time, they still just keep pumping along.
Thanks, Persona.
They're like they're the Kmart of video games.
It's like that
I don't
and
know how to tell you
Mario
this.
and Sonic Olympics are what hold that ship afloat. Persona and, well, Yakuza's got a loyal base, especially in Japan.
John, did you ever eat a hot dog at the K Cafe,
Hot dog.
which was the cafe in Kmart? I did.
Was it good?
And a pretzel.
Did you and Mikey share hot dogs together?
I don't remember.
I always liked their popcorn.
Yeah, it was good stuff. At some point, the K Cafes closed down and it was a sad day.
Along with all Kmarts.
Back to Sega. It's a road to 2020 roadmap of games earnings has fallen apart due to market miscalculations, too many games in development, lack of sales performance, and game delays.
I mean,
remasters of existing games is also a possibility.
that'll be interesting. Echo of the Dolphin remaster.
Do you know where I ate at today?
Where?
For some people listening, this may not be weird, but for me, I haven't eaten here in many years.
Okay.
Hardee's.
Why didn't you
Hardee's is
invite
good.
me?
Hardee's is amazing.
Let's go to Hardee's for dinner.
Dude, they have really good burgers.
Yeah.
They have an amazing hot ham and cheese. You get 2-for-1 apple turnovers, which I'm never turning that deal down, I'll tell you that much. And they have Coke products, which make me very happy. Cherry Coke on
What makes
tap,
you very
bro.
happy? Coke products.
When I walk into a place and they don't have Coke products, I'm like, you missed the mark.
Like Taco
I
Bell.
want to think like what they had. They had what? They had like last year, the only notable Sega game I can think of
It's a
was
Sonic game.
like,
And
yeah,
Persona.
they had that Sonic, like where it was the additional kind of Masters version of the one they did the year before that was done by all the fans, right? Like it was like the
The one
Super
we played and
Plus
reviewed
edition.
on our
yeah.
fine program.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Called Sonic.
The one that was like classic.
Sonic Unleashed.
It
or
was called
something
Sonic the
Yeah,
Hedgehog.
something like that. Something like that. But
You can't with me, right?
I just can't.
speaking of Sonic,
Oh,
Paramount works fast to appease Sonic fans.
I wrote this one.
The studio released its first trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie last week and was met with harsh internet backlash,
Ouch.
mainly due to the title character's design for the movie. In response, the film's director Jeff Fowler tweeted out that the studio will be redesigning
Redesigning.
the famous Sega mascot, stating in a tweet, quote, "Thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. We suck, and you aren't happy with the design, and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. Hashtag sorry about Jim Carrey. Hashtag Sonic movie. Hashtag gotta fix fast."
Are they getting rid of Jim Carrey?
No. I added that.
No. You know how we were just talking about how they're broke? I think that explains why this movie is getting made.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna fix it. I didn't. It was weird because I had literally no reaction to the trailer.
I didn't either. I didn't
like-
care how it looked.
I'm emotional just because, I grew up a Sonic kid.
Yeah,
right?
but it didn't make sense to put Sonic in a movie to me. It still doesn't.
Still doesn't.
You could do it, but
They are
Fanboy.
doing it.
yeah,
Fanboy.
like no, you could do it, but like it's the same problem. It's the same problem we see like with all these things is that when you're trying to adapt these things for screen, more than likely a movie studio isn't so much concerned about like, oh, well, this is where this character comes from and what makes sense for it. They're thinking what sells. That's what they are thinking with these movies, whether you're talking about Alvin and the Chipmunks, Woody the
works.
Woodpecker,
Woody the Woodpecker.
yeah, that is a terrifying movie if you've never watched it. Yogi Bear, like all these things that they brought back and said like, okay, let's take this character that's usually animated and make him a fish out of water, and we'll put him in.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, SpongeBob did it very well. And then
I win.
kind of give him some kooky little things going on, and then like kids that are 10 and under who really don't care about this stuff, they will gravitate
Yeah,
to
but
it.
they made this movie seem like it was a real movie.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
then-
what's throwing me off.
Yeah. And that's what they did here. It's a formula movie.
No.
It sucks, like for me as a Sonic fan, but I understand if you're a studio, like for instance, Smurfs, right?
They worked.
Yeah. It made a ton of money. So I understand why they're thinking, oh, we have to redesign the characters to be this, and we have to make it this thing, because they're thinking not in the sense of what Sonic fans want. They're thinking of what will make them money. It's just really weird because there's already been Sonic in a movie in the last couple of years that looked great. And seemed, even though it was a cameo, true to the character, and that was Wreck-It Ralph. He's in there twice.
Yeah, twice.
Twice. And you're like, and what's in there too? Dr. Robotnik. He's in the villains part when they're having their therapy
I
session.
don't even know who he is.
He's the main villain. He's got a big mustache.
I know I looked at John really funny when I said that.
He's his name is Jim Carrey.
He's what Jim Carrey looks like at the end of the trailer.
So, I don't know. Like, if you were already committed to this, I don't know what they're going to do to fix this, right? It just makes... You're going to rush to get this done and relook by November, which means it's probably not going to look great. Right?
Well, look, think about like the movie that we might go see together, Chris. Pikachu.
Yeah. We are. Hey,
Pikachu,
take this hand.
Look at me.
We're going to see you together.
Pikachu usually is animated, but in the movie,
it works.
It looks amazing.
Because
I have no issue with Pikachu.
You have to think like something like the Pokemon. I don't know. The movie's gotten good reviews, but not great reviews or anything like that, right? It's not everyone's like, this has changed
Is the movie
everything.
out yet?
It comes out this week, but the reviews have already dropped. They dropped them early.
That's how that works.
Yeah. But like, to their credit, someone like, Pokemon Company, they're in a unique position, right? They have all the power. So if they are going to allow their stuff to be put into a movie, right? They have the ability to basically dictate the terms of a lot more. Sega, I'm guessing, does not have a lot of power in this. We are licensing out our character, and in return, we will get a nice portion of the profits that made for this movie. So if you think like worldwide, this movie makes like say 200, 300 million, you're happy, right?
That's a lot of money, Chris.
Yeah, like 90 million come into them even.
I don't even
That'd
know.
be perfect.
I don't know how to tell you this, Chris. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. But anyways, finally this week. Something uplifting.
Pokemon Detective Pikachu is at 71 on Tomato.
Yeah.
Making it the greatest video game film of all time.
That's
Take
fantastic.
that, Super Mario Brothers.
Thanks, Ryan Reynolds.
Let's end this one with a bang, guys. Employee walkout time. Over 150 disgruntled, that has to be one of the best words ever, employees walked out of the League of Legends publishers' offices in Los Angeles.
That's right.
To protest the company's stance on forced arbitration. They held picket signs and gave impassioned speeches while holding picket signs. That is written fantastically, news team.
Top notch.
I remember.
You should work.
I remember writing that sentence, and towards the end of the sentence, I was like, "Oh, I forgot to say they were holding picket signs."
Hey, you should work in communications
It's
for
fantastic.
a company someday.
Exactly.
You should do it. Quote, we're asking that forced arbitration be ended for all past, current, and future Riot employees, including contractors and in current litigation. Asking to feel safe does not make you entitled. We are what makes Riot great. I want us to feel like our voices are heard and heard in a way that matters. This appears to be the first of its game for the industry.
Kind.
For the game industry.
For the game industry as far as a large scale walkout. The employees are taking issue with the company's arbitration policies because it doesn't protect its employees properly from abuses.
Yeah. So this is related back to, I think John put it in the news last year, right? Where like Riot had a big controversy, like there was a huge expose in Kotaku and all these people just talking about.
Wait, Kotaku reported it?
Yeah, originally. It was a Jason Schreier piece.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Where they had
doesn't seem like them.
Where they had like hundreds of employees coming forward and saying like, look, they're alive. There's sexism here. There's people abusing power. There's all just sorts of stuff in it. It can create a big controversy. And I guess this is like now the fallout of it, right? Is that they've gone to this point where they're trying to force arbitration on certain people who are suing them for sexual harassment instead of going to a jury trial. And I guess I was reading today, like they haven't done anything to the people in management that like, I think the most they got was like they were sent home for a month, and things like that, like that were accused of sexual misconduct and all these other things. And there's just been a lot of stuff where I remember Riot putting out this PR statement and this is this office basically saying they haven't really honored that. Is what all the employees, it seemed like, in that office. I mean, if you look at it, like they have 2,500 employees, but it's like over 24 sites. From what I gathered and when I mapped it out, that's basically saying this whole office walked out in LA. So I don't know if it was just something that was isolated to that part of the company or whatever, which sucks as if it's true. But my guess is that this will probably continue if they don't, if Riot doesn't take it seriously. Because, I think to their credit, when you show a lot of solidarity like that, it's hard to argue that you can just be silent and think everything's going to be fine. But who knows? Best of luck, though.
Well, I don't know that the answer to this problem is the elimination of arbitration agreements. I mean, the three of us here, we've all signed these things as employees of where we work. They are set in place to protect companies from a constant barrage of legal threats that amount to nothing but can cost millions of dollars to defend. And there are advantages to arbitration procedures as opposed to legal.
Yes.
They're much cheaper. You don't necessarily need lawyers to represent you. There's different stipulations and standards about the preponderance of evidence and how you present evidence and disclosing everything, showing all your hand. Maybe Rob can weigh in on this next week. I think that there should be concern about how to address these certain issues that these employees are experiencing, and I hope they get resolutions to serious problems that they are having. I don't know that arbitration is the right approach, because what you can do, the overall reason for arbitration agreements for companies like this is to protect employees and allow them to have jobs so that people don't throw frivolous lawsuits, baseless lawsuits at companies consistently, because people will take advantage of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think like the thing that set them off was that there was a similar incident in another company, right? And it was like the same thing where guys were accused of sexual harassment in like the company. I can't remember who it was, but it was someone big, I thought. Basically, they had also decided to go the arbitration route, and the employees harassed and complained there, saying this is unfair because it's a sexual assault thing. It's not about your employment. It's about someone potentially doing something that could be very illegal depending on how far they go, right? And that was where they eventually caved and said, fine, we'll do this in court. So I think that's what they're aiming for here with these, of where the motivation came from. But we'll see. I mean, I hope, like I said, I hope everyone finds some happiness in this. And if people eventually have to leave, I hope they find new jobs elsewhere.
Yeah, there might be a way to get to a point where you can fracture the concept of harassment or whatever that may be into what is compartmentalized into arbitration procedures. Like arbitration procedures might be false firing or protesting your disciplinary position that you currently hold, or your
there's a place for
taking action for a lower performance appraisal that you don't believe you deserved, next to tearing that away from arbitration procedures, what is potentially illegal activity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
it's a very, very touchy subject.
No pun.
Yeah, no pun. I just realized that. You guys want to wrap this up,
please?
Never.
Oh.
God, my neighbors.
Noise complaint.
Right? Anyway.
We do this in a tiny apartment, ladies and gentlemen.
If you want to write your thoughts and opinions, and you can do
Thoughts
so.
and prayers.
Family. You can do so by writing them into weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com. Just like Aaron did. He's back. He says, "Hey, Aaron here."
What's up, AA Ron?
Just writing in to say you guys are awesome.
You're more awesome.
I'm really enjoying the Twitch content, and the live show was great.
Thank you. It was fun to do the live show, sir.
Also, I beat Sekiro, and I'm on the New Game Plus grind.
So you're the one.
You're
Yes.
a legend.
I'm going for the platinum the legit way, not by save scumming the 3 good endings.
I don't know what that means.
There are 3 endings in the game.
What?
Yeah. Anyways, keep up the good work, and your mom's union box is a perfect size for my never wrapped Richard. Game on.
Yeah.
Props to you for being secure. I haven't done that yet.
It's one of the more
Props
colorful.
of you for understanding how fun being Raft is.
Oh,
It's fantastic.
next up we got Chris. Not me.
Why'd you write in, Chris?
I don't know. He's core Chris, apparently. Hello, guys. Love the show as usual. And just a few things about the emails. I love going to my local GameStop. Not a big fan of the digital chat with the employees. And they give me pretty good reviews and suggestions on gaming. And I love the midnight at 9 p.m. early release. And free to play is horrible. I'd rather pay $14.99. I don't think he means $1,409.
He might.
Yeah.
We don't need to judge.
$14.99 a month, then nickel and dime for thousands of dollars. Just my thoughts. Have a good day.
That was the longest run-on sentence I have ever seen.
That was amazing. You had 14 thoughts.
0 punctuation.
And 3 lines, and we appreciate every one of them.
Awesome.
And finally, Sean.
I didn't write.
Why are you spelling? You just change your name spelling. You think it's okay?
It's just like, like smoke that ninjas throw down when they're trying to get away from a bad guy. One of those ninja bombs.
He titled this Days Gone.
Yeah, he did.
And he says, "Hey guys, Sean again. By the time you guys read this, you'll have reviewed Days Gone.
Yeah.
No, it's Dagon.
Dagon. Oh yeah, he wrote Dagon. That's funny. It may have some issues, but yes, but I am like Sean, having fun with it.
What?
Has a Zero Horizon Dawn feel. That'd be Horizon Zero Dawn, I think. That being said, get with it, Sean. Anyways, you guys might have covered this, but I find it funny how you have to use your boot knife to open vehicles when most have no windows and you can simply pop the trunk or hood from inside the vehicle. That's fair. That's very fair.
I've thought that every time I've popped
and couldn't you just take your baseball bat, even if the window wasn't there, and just go?
Well, in zombies, Chris, you don't want to make too much noise.
Oh yeah, like your bike, huh?
Or like why that Hyundai has a car alarm on it 778 days later.
The greatest battery ever. Survived 2 winters and everything. Sean, people hit us up on Twitter.
He said have a good week in Game On.
Oh, I said that too.
Okay,
Game on,
Sean.
Game on. Hey, Sean.
Hey.
Game on. Your mom's box? Wait, what? No. People hit us up on Twitter at Weekly Games Chat. What do they say, Sean?
Well, first off, as a professional does, I will get close to the microphone. At Platinum Twitch, good, friend of the show, if you will. He says, big thank you to everyone who came out to the hashtag Days Gone stream tonight. This would have been 4 days ago as I read it, so whatever day that makes it. It was a blast, and I had such a great turnout. I wanted to
I've hung out with Chris, or with him.
Well, if you'd shut up, I'd tell you that he's telling you thanks.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to give a specific shout out to Chris from at Weekly Games Chat for the host, as well as the at Cucumber91 for the raids and the hashtag biddies.
Yeah, if y'all like good streaming and you don't want to listen to my voice or see my ugly face, Platinum everything. He's usually on there playing at least once or twice a week.
Is he pretty?
Is he? He looks like you before you let it go, man. I don't know what happened. You were so golden. Why couldn't you stay gold, pony boy?
At Mario Orlando says, at Weekly Games Chat, this is for Chris.
Oh?
But thank you, Sean, for reading this. And thank you, John, for being John. Nice. I hate unions too. Anyway, I'm replaying Mass Effect. Do you recommend a class?
I like the one. I cannot remember the names of them.
Soldier class.
No, not soldier. Is it adept or it's the one that basically is a hybrid between using your abilities, not the mechanical kind, but like the supernatural abilities, and then like soldier.
It's right off the tip of my tongue.
It's like you have pistols and shotguns, but you can like force pull and force push people and like throw huge orbs of energy at them.
Huge.
It was great.
He says, by the way, Ashley will live in one. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? You do know what that means.
Yes, because you have to make a choice at the end of the game to let one person die and one person live. And
spoilers.
Let me put it this way. I was boning Ashley, so she was surviving.
Nice.
Okay.
P.S. Sean, I'd love to know a playlist of yours.
Vanguard.
Do you mean music?
Vanguard,
If so, hit me back either when you see me in Discord or on here, and I'll clarify what you mean by playlist, and I'll definitely let you know a playlist.
John just looked it up in case you missed it. Mario, it is Vanguard. Vanguard is the best class in that game.
I agree.
Couple follows this week at Connor Strife. Thank you for the following you back. And at the JPB09. This is fantastic. Hashtag PlayStation, hashtag PS4, and hashtag The Bears.
The Bears.
That's all we're going to do today because
Okay.
we're approaching 2 hours, and that's all you get.
Looks like we made it.
We did it, guys.
This has been episode, I believe, 203 of Weekly Games Chat.
There's got to be more than 3 since 200, right? It's got to be like 204 or 5 or something.
No,
bro.
that says episode 203 on it.
You've been wrong before, dude. That was so long ago.
That was back in 2017.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you like us, make sure you subscribe on some iTunes or podcast service, and you will get a new episode just like this one every Wednesday. Maybe a couple hours late if it's the end of the month and we're out of data.
It only
what
happened
happened.
once, and it
Yeah, it
may
happened
happen again
once.
this month. That's why we're not going to be here on Memorial Day.
We're
What?
taking off the rest of the month. Y'all have a good one.
Gotta go now.
Gotta fly now.
Bye.
If while you're there you want to
think you already
help
said that.
us, you can review or rate the show. It helps people find us. 5 stars is preferred. 4-star is what breaks John's heart.
Yes.
So if you're going to do that, divide it in half and do what, John?
Double it.
There you go. If you want to hang out with us, we have our own Discord. The link should be on the Twitch page, but if not, you can just go search it, I believe, in the Discord app, and it should pop up. If it's not true, tweet at Sean, and I will help and solve the problem.
We'll get it done
Yes, we will fix this.
because we love you guys and girls.
And even though it's, I only did it for an hour because of NBA basketball this past week. I normally stream Monday nights on Twitch at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We gotta find something we can play together. Is Rage 2 multiplayer?
I totally thought we were going to be playing all Days Gone, and then I didn't get the game. But then I could have played last night technically with you, but I was doing things in my real life motorcycle.
Yeah, I really just got on and said, like, here, let me show these people Horde Combat just so they could see how it was. That was what I did. And I was like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun, though. Besides that, though, make sure you subscribe to us on all the social medias. And until next time, I will simply say, game on, Sean.
Game on.
You're not Sean.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, John.
Game on, Chris. Game on, Sean.
Game on, Johnny Bear.
Your mom's box.
Peace out, everybody.
Thug life.
Let's go, Bucks.